Step 1. Rework the introduction. The introduction contains one of the biggest plot holes in the whole movie. Why would the Sovereign, if they're so prideful, so advanced, and have such a powerful armada, need the Guardians for anything at all, let alone to kill a giant space lizard? And why would they have to call on Yondu for help when they failed to capture the Guardians? The introduction should have focused on the overarching plot of both the movie itself and the MCU. Open with Thanos and the Black Order attacking Xandar. The Nova Corps are fighting against them, maybe even Nova himself, but they're being thoroughly destroyed. We get to meet Thanos' henchmen before Infinity War and see what their powers are. Then Nova has to watch half the population of his planet die, and we start to see Thanos as a legitimate threat to the Avengers and not just a man that likes to intimidate people from a floating chair. Step 2. Include more of Ego's ego. Ego can still be a lonely old celestial with trouble sleeping, but his name is literally Ego. The movie should take advantage of his extreme pride. Maybe his entire planet could be populated with aliens that worship and serve him. He soaks it all in and is very cruel when they disobey him, which is the first sign for the Guardians that he's not a good man. Step 3. Don't include the original Guardians. They serve no purpose in the film except to feel bad when Yondu dies. When the movie came out, there were no immediate plans for them, and even if they are used in the future, they could simply introduce themselves when they're relevant to the plot. Perhaps they could arrive to express their sympathy to Quill over the death of Yondu. Step 4. Leave Earth out of the movie. The scenes on Earth not only carry no emotional weight for the audience, but they also have zero significance for the Guardians as well. They never know what happened on Earth during their climactic battle, and those scenes would be better off eliminated. Step 5. Consolidate the plot lines and connect motivations. In a universe full of people, there are obviously going to be random, unconnected events. In the case of this movie, however, the majority of what happens is far too random, and the characters' motivations are far too disconnected from each other. The Sovereign want a space lizard killed, and they want their batteries returned. Yondu wants redemption. Ego wants to plant a garden. Nebula wants revenge. The Guardians want money, fame. The fact that the batteries play into the climax is terrific, but that's not enough. We've already seen Thanos in the first movie, and we know that the entire universe is threatened by his plan for the stones, so it would make much more sense if the film revolved around that. First, Thanos destroys Xandar. When the Guardians hear about what happened, they realize that he obtained the Infinity Stone the Nova Corps were safeguarding. They know they have to find a way to defeat Thanos. They call up Yondu, and in spite of their differences, he agrees to help them track down a potential weapon. This causes dissension among his crew. Many of them don't want to work with the man that tricked and stole from them. When they go looking for the weapon, they stumble upon a secret Sovereign operation, such as genetically engineered soldiers, something that's a threat to the galaxy. To keep anyone else from discovering it, the Sovereigns send their armada after the Guardians. They survive for a while, but even with Yondu's forces, they're outnumbered. Ego shows up and wipes out the Sovereign fleet. He reveals that he's Peter's father and takes them to his planet full of people that worship him. He claims he found Quill out of his desire to be a father, but in actuality, his concern is simply for his own survival, as Thanos' plan threatens his very existence. Yondu doesn't particularly like Ego, and so he's uneasy around him. Nebula arrives. Thanos sent her to hunt down Gamora since she has information he needs. They fight, but eventually she sees how mindlessly obedient the planet's inhabitants are, and it makes her realize that is how she is being as well. During the course of this fight, they all see Ego's bad side and realize he's only using Peter. He has a weapon that can kill immortals such as Thanos, but only those with celestial blood can use it. He reproduces and harvests children as ammo for his weapon, which kills them after only a couple uses. Now he needs it to defeat Thanos. When he realizes this, Yondu calls for the Ravagers to pick them up, but there's no response. He has to go back with Groot and Rocket and take the ship back after their mutiny. Peter Quill and the remainder of his team fight against Ego's minions with the objective of getting the weapon from one crazy immortal so they can use it to join against Thanos. They nearly overwhelm Ego's populace, but then Ego joins the fight. Yondu and his ships appear, and everyone is evacuated except Peter. he gets his hands on the weapon and kills Ego. The planet starts to crumble, and the Ravagers rescue its inhabitants. Yondu goes out to save Peter and sacrifices himself in the process. Yondu's dead. The Guardians are alive. Nebula is on their side against Thanos, and they have a weapon that can kill the Mad Titan, but which would also kill Peter in the process, as he already drained half of his celestial power when he killed Ego. That weapon would be the one he's forced to attempt to use against Thanos and Gamora, which Thanos then turns to Bubbles. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more, and if there's a movie you'd like to see us do next, let us know in the comments.